kind of an exciting time to have lived through, to be totally honest. It's very difficult to describe that over another course. You can't understand it unless you've lived through it. But this constant change, the constant news, constant revelations, something different every day.
Welcome to Cold War Conversations.
Good evening. The stunning overthrow of Mikhail Gorbachev by communist hardliners dominates the news this Monday. Gorbachev was reported under house arrest as Soviet tanks took up positions throughout Moscow.
5, 2, 7, 1, 6, 6, 9, 8, 3.
Poland's military leader, General Jaruzelski, urged the Polish people tonight not to demonstrate on Tuesday, the second anniversary of the founding of the banned trade union Solidarity.
And I'm here to host this final program from the German Democratic Republic for you.
In this episode, we hear the third and final part of Torsten Belger's story as he tells us about his first visit to West Berlin, leaving the East German army and life after the GDR. Before we start, a quick thanks to Skip 1969, Peteyinmontreal and GDR Objectified for leaving reviews in iTunes. Do leave reviews with your favourite podcast provider. It really helps us get new guests on the show. And if you'd like to support us, then head over to coldwarconversations.com and click on the Support the Podcast menu option to learn more. Thank you so much for all our fans that are supporting us. It is really appreciated. Now, back to today's episode. We start with Torsten telling us about life in the immediate aftermath of the fall of the Berlin Wall.
Kind of an exciting time to have lived through.
Absolutely.
To be totally honest. And,
yeah.
And it's very difficult to describe that over another course. You can't understand it unless you've lived through it. But this constant change, the constant news, constant revelations, something different every day.
Yeah.
Every day you woke up, it's like, well, wonder what's the news today? You know,
yeah. It was worth buying a newspaper then, rather.
Oh, it was worth, watching TV and buying. Yeah. And gradually, obviously, even the East German newspapers and the East German media were actually reporting what was happening.
Yeah.
That sort of started at some point in November, towards the middle of November.
And when was the first time you went to the West?
29th of November, 1989.
You can obviously remember it very well. Was that Berlin or West Germany?
Yeah. I had a girlfriend then, and I met up with her in Berlin, and it might have been the first. No, it wouldn't have been the first leave, but certainly went on leave. We met with her in Berlin and stayed with friends in Berlin, and then we did one trip across into Kreuzberg.
And tell me,
Friedrichstraße.
Tell me about that. What?
It wasn't all glitter and gold.
No. I've had a few people tell me that,
basically.
Particularly crossing into Kreuzberg in the
late especially
1980s.
Kreuzberg, yeah. So obviously it's mostly Turkish there, and run-down houses, and not everything was shiny and beautiful. And obviously we wouldn't have had any money to spend there anyway at that time. I didn't have D-Mark, I didn't have West German money. I think we might have been given like 20 marks or something as when we were crossing the border just to have something.
Okay.
In our pockets, but no real money.
So you didn't get your greeting money, the 100 Deutschmarks?
I didn't. I don't know. I'm not sure if it was already given then. It might have been given then already, but I sort of refused to take it because I thought that was just
bribery.
Not bribes, handouts.
Charity.
Charity. Yeah, I don't want charity from West Germany.
Yeah.
So I refused to take it. I actually only got that just before it ended. At the end of the year, it ended with the 31st of December. 1989, and I think after Christmas, between Christmas and New Year, we went to visit my relatives in West Germany for the first time. Obviously, I've never visited them before.
Yeah,
never visited them since actually either, to be honest. But anyway, so we went to visit them, and while there, just sort of what the hell, and just went into a bank there in that town, where in Stade. Where they lived, and went into a bank and got the 100 mark and bought myself a jacket. Yeah. From CNA.
Oh.
Well, there you go.
So Dutch company.
Well, and so I only got that Begrüßungsgeld, this 100 mark.
Yeah. And that,
right at the end, I think it was like 29th of December or something.
Right.
Just
right
two
up to
days.
The last,
I didn't want to get it, but just because we happened to visit, my uncle and aunt.
Yeah.
So we happened to visit the relatives there, and we're in town anyway, and this stuff.
Yeah.
Swallow my pride and just get it anyway.
So where did you cross into Berlin? Was it Oberbaum?
Friedrich.
Oh, the S-Bahn.
Yeah, with the S-Bahn. So,
right.
Okay. So went on the S-Bahn, Friedrichstraße. Just trying to remember now. Did we have to get off the train? Yeah, we did. Yes, we had to get off the train and go through a checkpoint. Got stamps.
Right.
Yeah, I have them still in somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, it's not TV interview, so
no.
There's no point me showing anyway.
Well, no, I'd still be interested to see them anyway. But
I still have my Personalausweis, which was the sort of the East German ID.
Right.
Book.
Oh, okay.
And I have that. I think it's in my desk somewhere.
Yeah.
And that has the stamps in it
wow.
From when I crossed the border for the first time. Yeah. From the stamps in there from when you got this Begrüßungsgeld that had to go into the Personalausweis.
Yeah. So you were singularly unimpressed by West Berlin then?
Very, yes.
Right.
Yes.
And did
very
you
unimpressed. I think we went into Kreuzberg first, and then I think we went to like Berlin Zoo, Berlin Zoo, where the U-Bahn-Stadt, the underground station is.
Oh, the zoo station.
The zoo station.
Yeah. Which is equally
Zoologischer Garten.
Which is equally not particularly.
No, and that's all I saw.
So you didn't go as far as Kudamm and down?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't do that. No, just went really to Kreuzberg and then sort of that Zoologischer Garten. Subway station area. That's not impressive. No.
Right.
No.
But when you went to visit the relatives, did you find that more impressive?
At that point, it was becoming more normalized already.
Right.
It was then normal to go to the West. It wasn't, I hadn't been more since then. I'd only been this trip to Berlin and going over, crossing into West Berlin at the end of November. And I think in between then I hadn't been in the West again until after Christmas.
Yeah.
Was I impressed? No, I don't know. Didn't think it was particularly impressive.
No. Okay.
Don't forget, I grew up watching West German TV and radio.
So you were under no illusion as to what?
No, I don't think I was under any illusions. The people from the Tada Ahnungslosen, they were completely illuded about, as far as they were concerned, the West was the golden glitter, and so you just have to go over there, you get a job, no problem, you drive a BMW next week, and you go on holidays to the Bahamas.
Even with them watching the Schwarzer Kanal, the Black Channel on
that wasn't taken seriously.
No.
Oh, we watched it, but only because he was showing bits from West German television.
Oh, and it was a channel you were allowed to watch. Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, that we had to watch. So it was kind of fun in a way to just watch him. Well, for one, it's to see what bits from West German television did he pick, and then how would he interpret? What was shown, just for fun, not for. Nobody took it seriously.
No. So you're still in the army at this point.
Oh yeah.
Yes. When did you? Well, I guess what I want to talk about is obviously there's the vote on reunification.
Yeah, but it wasn't really a vote. Well, that was May.
Yeah.
I think it was 18th of May or something. I think was the election date.
And were you still in the army then?
No.
Right.
No, I was. I left. My last day was the 28th of February, 1990.
Okay. And
it's basically, like I said before, once you signed up for 25 years to be an officer, you had no choice. You couldn't just say, "Oh, I've had enough of this. Can't be bothered anymore. I'm off." Couldn't do that. So, but towards the end of January 1990, we were suddenly told, "Look, whoever wants to leave can leave."
Right.
Just hand in your Gehgesuch, Entlassungsgesuch was called. So hand in your application that you want to leave, and no problem. So I did. I was one of the first 10 people to leave from the school because I didn't particularly like the army.
Yeah,
it wasn't my thing. I'm not very good with authority. So one of the first people the first batch of people to leave, which was on the 28th of February, 1990. I left, and then that was it. I left then. But I would have known throughout February that I was leaving.
Right. So in the period while you were in the army, did you meet any Bundeswehr or not?
No.
Right.
No, not one. No.
Okay.
No. It was too early by the time I left. That this sort of
because the
more,
official merge.
this sort of like more heavy interaction only started in the summer of 1990. I was already well out by then.
Right. And what did you do? I mean, you hadn't finished university. So what did you do?
Oh, I then applied. So I'm from Schönebeck, which is near Magdeburg. In Magdeburg, there's a big university called, TU, Technische Universität Otto von Guericke. So it's it's a fairly well-known technical university in Germany. Has a good name now as well. Yeah. So I during February at some point, after I'd handed in my leave request, being watched now by the children here. Anyway, so at some point I handed in the leave request and then basically started looking at what else can I do. So obviously I wanted to continue studying. I wanted to get a degree at some point and to show something. Yeah. For myself that I've achieved something. And so I applied to Magdeburg University, to Technical University, to basically just continue doing the same civilian degree as I had already been doing in the army, which was, B.Eng honors, or effectively B.Eng honors in mechanical engineering with teaching. Actually, right. There's an addendum there. And Magdeburg University had the same course as my civilian university course at the officer school. Applied to them, had to go for an interview, and got accepted by them. They let me go straight into the first year, so I could skip the first couple of semesters. Right. And I finished in February. And my start date, I think, would have been like beginning of April. So 5th of April or 6th of April, straight into the running first year of the course. So although I was third year at university, but at the officer college, they didn't acknowledge that, but at least they let me skip the first part of or most of the first year.
And so you were still in university when reunification happened?
I was in Magdeburg University.
Okay. And how did that change things, reunification, in the university specifically?
Didn't really change anything.
Really?
No.
Because they'd already presumably dropped Marxism out of the
that was already gone by at that point. Yeah. Yes. I still had to finish Russian language and English. Right. At university. That was during second year, I think. Must have been. Yeah, during second year, you had to do something called Sprachkundigenprüfung, which is basically kind of like interpreter qualification in two foreign languages, so which for me was Russian and English. And I still did that, although Russian was then dropped. Yeah. Not much later, by the university, or by the academia, full stop. Academic system, full stop. But other than that, nothing really changed. No, same, apart from Marxism, Leninism type things. Yeah. And obviously the FDJ, the Communist Youth Organization didn't exist anymore by then, and the SED didn't exist anymore by then. So any kind of political things within university education had already been dropped by then. Right. So the actual reunification, this 3rd of October. Yeah. 3rd or 2nd? I don't remember now. 3rd or 2nd of October. Anyway,
I don't know. I can't remember now.
What the exact date now, but
it's October anyway.
Yeah, beginning of October, 2nd or 3rd of October. So when that day came, it didn't mean anything. Well, it did. I mean, it meant something. Of course, it was a big day and big hoo-ha, and it was a bank holiday, and everyone got the day off, and obviously the television was full of things and stuff. Yeah. Most memorable thing was this bloke covering the Reichstag in a big sheet of. Christo. Whatever his name. Christo, that's it. Yeah, that was, I don't know why, but that was a big deal was made of that. Yeah. But, so other than that, no, I certainly wasn't out celebrating. Yeah. No.
So you was, how did you feel about East Germany being absorbed into the Bundesrepublik?
Disappointed.
Did you think that East Germany could just go, still should have gone its own way?
Well, the thing is that the people that started this so-called revolution, like the Neues Forum, Demokratischer Aufbruch, and 15 other organizations that existed then. They didn't start it to kill the East Germany, to kill the DDR. They wanted change. And they were disappointed by what was happening. And we were saying earlier that, the last sort of elections, the last Volkskammer, the last parliamentary elections in East Germany happened in May 1990. It was also the first time I could vote.
Right.
So, it was also the first and last national election I've ever voted in.
Right.
By the way. But because I can't vote here and can't be bothered with voting in Germany as it is now. But anyway, it doesn't matter. That's a different story. But, yeah, so, and basically, yes, you were voting for parties, you were voting for the Volkskammer, all the rest, but really the vote was about should there be reunification under this Article 21 or not. Clause 21, which basically meant that East Germany will cease to exist and will be absorbed by West Germany, and everything that was East German is no longer valid and will be scrapped and cancelled. Yeah. So, really, that's the parties that were campaigning about that issue. So when you voted then, you voted, were you in favor of this Article 21?
Yeah. So the main West German parties were standing in that election, weren't they? Like the CDU.
They were in East Germany very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they still had.
I think by the end of November, we had Aldis in town.
Yeah.
And obviously, and Helmut Kohl and all those sort of guys were campaigning.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
Yeah. Can I ask you who you voted for in that election?
Oh, PDS.
Right. Okay.
I voted against.
Yeah.
They were pretty much the only party that properly stood against.
Yeah.
This Article 21.
Right. So even the Greens were in favour of reunification?
I think they were, but they were against this Article 21.
Yeah.
So they were wishy-washy, as usual, as they are now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I voted for PDS, which is the successor of the SED.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think people forget the SED was a sort of forced marriage of two, the SPD and the
KPD.
Yeah.
In 1946.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was SPD, so obviously Social Democrats and the Communist Party were merged.
Yeah.
Into the SED in 1946.
Yeah.
That's why the logo of the party logo is the handshake. The handshake is of Otto Grotewohl, who was the chairman or president or whatever he was of the SPD, and Wilhelm Pieck, who was the boss of the KPD. And it's their two hands, and it's them shaking hands.
That school history you were taught is still there, all that detail.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that.
Yeah, no.
You can't forget that.
Yeah. No,
shouldn't forget that.
No, this is a fascinating talking to you and just hearing some of the what I call the ordinary bits of history, but are almost the more fascinating bits. The big political picture is the big political picture, but it's how
read about that in books if you want.
But it's how ordinary people dealt with these monumental changes in their life.
Yeah, and it was a change. It's a bigger change than you could possibly ever imagine. Everything changed for East Germans.
Yeah.
For West Germans, nothing changed.
Yeah.
But for East Germans, everything. Yeah. Everything. You pick whatever you want. It changed.
Yeah. Because your country disappeared effectively overnight, and you were forced to become a citizen of another country. But also your whole way of life changed overnight.
Exactly. That's what changed. Everything changed. Taxation, pensions, everything.
Yeah.
There's nothing remained the same.
Yeah.
Schooling.
Yeah. Because one moment your local shop is a Kaufhalle and the next moment it's an Aldi, I guess. Or
kind of, but that happened much earlier. Obviously, like I said, the first things that came into East Germany after the war came down were politicians and supermarkets. So I think within November at some point, it was in November, and I must have had leave then in November after the war came down. First experience was go to an Aldi in Magdeburg. It was the only Aldi that existed then in Magdeburg. That was in November.
Right.
Didn't take long at all.
No.
So they opened an Aldi in Magdeburg, went there, huge queues, massive queues, trying to get in there. Ridiculous prices for bananas.
Yeah.
I remember that was 20 marks a kilo,
Wow.
which is like
City
city money.
Yeah.
And that's the supermarkets, Western politicians.
Yeah.
First things, they flooded into East Germany as soon as the wall came down.
Yeah.
And then obviously therefore then killed off East German industry.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
That most of East German industry was gone by the summer, before the reunification even. And then what wasn't gone by then was completely killed off by the Treuhand after the reunification.
Yeah.
But, that's what happened. And then by the time people realized that, well, hang on, actually what we had, the goods, most of, not everything, but, but a lot of the goods we had weren't actually that bad. The amount of had fancy packaging and fancy marketing that the West German, especially consumer goods, that West German food, that West German food had, for example, it wasn't like fancy Mars bars and Coca-Cola, but we had cola. Plenty of different types of cola. There was plenty of different types of sweets. Chocolate was fine.
Yeah.
Meals were fine. Food was good.
Exactly, and that's, I think, what people forget. I was interviewing the other day Eileen, who was an English teacher teaching in East Berlin.
Oh, Eileen Ford something.
Ford Price.
Yeah.
Yes. And she was saying the food was great. There was
food
nothing,
is very good. It's no different from what you get now.
Yeah.
As far as quality goes, we had there were certain shortages for certain things, but only isolated things.
Yeah.
What you couldn't get was all the exotic foods, So
Yes.
didn't like bananas and kiwi and oranges, and they were more unusual. They got them, but not all the time.
But I remember being in the UK in those times, and you couldn't get a lot of stuff out of season anyway. You can get blueberries all the year round now, for example, but you could only get them in the autumn.
And stuff like that. Local produce, obviously that would have been seasonal, and that was the same in East Germany. And local produce was plenty.
Yeah.
So you could have have apple fights if you wanted to, and there's no problem. Plenty of apples and pears and peaches and anything that could be grown in East Germany or in the Eastern Bloc, that was available.
Yeah.
No problem. But anything that had to be bought in with hard currency.
Was
the problem.
Yeah.
So exotic fruits would have been a problem. So the only thing like oranges, the only oranges we could get regularly would have been from Cuba, and Cuban oranges are not very nice.
Right.
Very sour and small and hard. And So that's the only thing you could get, and you didn't even bother with them. Right. They weren't edible. So
I've only got a few more questions, and I realise I've taken a lot of your time. This might pay a return
Didn't
visit
even look
for
at the
my
time,
further
but there you go.
questions. But when you look back on your time in the NVA and being a citizen of the GDR, what do you think of that? What's your...
Wasn't a bad time. Don't regret it. No regrets. No. I mean, this is the way it was. But I don't regret having been born in East Germany. I don't regret having grown up in East Germany. I don't regret having joined the I had to do army service anyway. So, and as it turned out, in the end, I didn't have to do the 25 years I signed up for, so it didn't really matter too much. But no, there's no regrets. No, that's the way it was. I think I had a good upbringing. I think I think I had a good childhood and a good education, which serves me well now, I think.
Yeah, I was going to ask how your studies translated into your life after 1990. I presume engineering was quite a portable...
It is, yeah. Engineering is engineering. It would have been something different if I had studied Marxist-Leninist philosophy.
Yeah.
I don't think there would have been too many options to transfer into something else after.
I think you could be right there.
Possibly, yes. And that obviously I pity the guys that did study that.
Yeah.
But it's engineering. So it's numbers. It's physics, it's mathematics, it's mechanics, it's dynamics.
Because I've heard from some people about their degrees not being valid in West Germany, but it sounds like you completed your education after reunification.
I did.
So therefore you would have had a West German.
Had I completed the degree course at the officer college, I'm not sure to what extent that would have been accepted.
Right.
I think my degree, because it was an engineering-based degree, would have been accepted. But a lot of other officers, like the political officers, for example, would have had philosophy degrees. Well, they were worthless.
Yeah.
But I think it depended what you studied.
Right.
I think it would have been accepted. Possibly. I'm not sure actually, because I don't actually know that many guys that did graduate and did complete, and I don't really know that much about what happened to them after. To ask them. Well, I can contact them now. I know where they are, and I can contact them. I can get hold of them, but I have never asked the question.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm a specialist in asking weird questions.
Oh,
so
yeah. No. That's fair enough. But look, I didn't finish at the University of Magdeburg either. I then obviously left Germany and came to the UK, and I actually came to the UK as a student. So I finished university in the UK.
Right. So
you graduated in the UK.
You came over to the UK in 91. 91. Okay.
4th of July 1991. There you go.
You can't remember German Reunification Day, but you can remember those.
No, but 4th of July is kind of a date that sticks in your mind, isn't it? So,
yeah. No, that.
No. Came to the UK in July 1991, Scotland.
Yeah.
So lived in Glasgow.
Right.
For a couple of years. Yeah. Applied to a couple of universities in Scotland and got offers from all of them.
Right.
So got offers from all of them, and there was one particular, Paisley University, or University of the West of Scotland as it's called now. And they made me an offer, conditional offer. No, I still had to go for an interview and stuff like that. But they made me more or less an unconditional offer to join directly into the third year of their mechanical engineering course because of the stuff I'd already done, both at the officers' college and at Magdeburg University. So I could join them in third year. That's why I picked them. Because the other ones were either, start from scratch or maybe go into second year. I think Glasgow University offered me second year, and I think Harriet and Edinburgh offered me second year as well. But Paisley were the only ones that offered third year. So I went in there. And so I finished university. So that was then a B.Eng Honours in mechanical engineering at Paisley University.
Right. And you stayed in the UK ever since? Or?
Yeah. Yes. So, but after graduating, then I moved out of Scotland into England, Cumbria first, Lake District.
Okay.
Had a job there at a chemical company.
Yeah.
In Whitehaven.
Oh, okay.
Not the most beautiful place.
Yeah, lovely.
But, kind of nice, but close to Sellafield.
Well, yeah, not so.
Could see it glow in the dark.
Yeah. But, no, I can imagine.
I liked it there. Anyway, worked there and then got a job offer in Liverpool and moved to Liverpool in 95.
Right.
And here I am. So now I'm self-employed, effectively, and as sort of like an engineering consultant.
Yeah.
My own company, but I hire myself out to another company.
Yeah. And so you just like the UK. You feel.
Well, I've got a wife here and children, and for now I'm stuck here.
Okay.
No, it's not
I'm
that
not
bad.
sure
No,
she'd appreciate you saying that.
Well, she wouldn't be opposed to moving away either.
Yeah.
Especially with Brexit.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's not talk about that here.
Yeah. But, that's for another podcast. That one.
It is.
Couple of quick last questions. What would you say was the best about being in the NVA?
The best?
Yeah, if there is.
I don't think there's any.
There isn't.
Highlights as such.
Right, okay. No. And the worst?
Well, the best, actually, sorry. No,
okay.
There was a reason why I took it. I mean, you were as an officer, be that the army or police or Grenztruppen or whatever, doesn't matter, you were a little bit more privileged within East Germany, which is one of the reasons why I picked it.
Right.
And why, because you had a better life afterwards.
Yeah.
You were earning good money. You were earning a lot more than the ordinary workers. And you got preferential treatment when it came to allocation of cars and flats and other things like that.
And presumably you got an earlier pension as well? Or?
You got an earlier pension because obviously, you would have retired from the army at 25, but so it would have been 43 then. But you still had to continue working. You couldn't just sit back and relax. East Germany wouldn't allow you to do that. It's basically the East German Constitution was written in the East German Constitution. Everyone has the right to work.
Yeah.
But also everyone must work. But you got good money basically. So starting salary as an officer student was not great. No, it was a bit more than you got as a student. Because like in East Germany, of course, students were paid from age 16. So even as school students, we got a monthly income from the state, which was actually quite good.
Yeah.
When you think about that. And obviously as an officer student, you got paid more than ordinary civilian university students. Yeah. So it was a little bit better, but not serious money.
Okay.
And then, but then as an officer, once you've graduated, you were on decent money.
Right.
Yes, that would have been pretty quickly. I would have earned twice as much as my parents.
Wow.
Who've been working all their lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was maybe a highlight.
Yeah.
The prospects of earning decent money and obviously getting a car quicker than somebody else.
Yeah.
And because there was this thing about like 15-year waiting times for Trabant or for Lada, and
that's what
that
I've
was
heard.
true. It was like that.
Yeah.
Yes. And there wasn't really like a second-hand cars market.
No.
Didn't exist. People had onto the cars. If you had one, you had onto it. And if anything, you might hand it down to your son, but you wouldn't sell it.
Yeah.
Not very often.
And what was the worst thing about being in the NVA? I can probably guess.
It was quite tough.
Yeah.
Being an officer student particularly was quite tough. It was 24/7.
Physically or mentally?
Physically.
Right.
More physically. Mentally, didn't have too many issues there, but more physically. Yeah, it was tough.
So that was the drilling and the fitness regime that you had to...
Fitness, everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Waking up in the morning was at 5:30 every morning. It's 5:30, so 5:30 was shouting, basically.
Yeah.
5:30 was waking up call.
Yeah.
The U4 day, the NCO, the service NCO, the duty NCO had to obviously shout out and everyone. So you had to jump out of bed. 5:33, you had to be outside in your sports gear. 5:35, you had to be downstairs. Doesn't matter what weather, unless it was very extreme weather. And you had to be running 2 miles. Every morning.
day?
Every morning.
Wow.
Unless you go on duty.
Yeah.
But other than that, so then obviously, then it continued, So lights out at 10 o'clock at the end of the day to jump to the other side. And weekends weren't too bad. So, Sunday was generally off unless you were on duty.
Yeah.
Saturday was still obviously schooling, lessons, training till about lunchtime, till about 12:30, I think was the last lesson. So it was quite intense. Yes, it was quite tough. We didn't have any running hot water, for example, at the officer schools.
Right. So it's cold showers.
Stuff like that. Cold showers. Didn't have showers.
Oh.
So didn't have showers. Didn't anything like that. I mean, ordinary conscripts had showers and running hot water at the officer school, but officer students didn't, which was all deliberate.
All part of hardening you up and making you tough.
Oh, we were treated much harsher than any conscript ever would be.
Right.
Much harsher.
Yeah.
So no, I didn't particularly enjoy that.
No. I've struggled to find any books in English about the NVA. Are there any that you can think of or recommend?
No.
That's not the right answer, but no. I'm right then. I can't find any.
Can't think of any. No, I mean, there's plenty in German.
Yeah. I mean, I found a couple of books which detail the sort of merger of the NVA into the Bundeswehr.
Yeah, but they're more historical.
Yeah.
History books.
Yeah, but they don't sort of,
No, I don't think there is anything.
I mean,
I'm not aware of one.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, there may well be something out there, but I've certainly not come across it. And I think I possibly would have seen it by now.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I obviously came across you on Facebook through German.Militaria. Can you just share a bit of information as to what German.Militaria is and what it offers?
It's a hobby. So it's my hobby. Obviously, I do have a day job, so this is a hobby on the side. And about 20 years ago, I started just for fun. I was buying stuff myself that I wanted to keep, and then I found a couple of things that I didn't want to keep anymore. So what I'm going to do with them now? So I started selling them, and it just developed into more. Still a hobby, but it developed into more. So what it is now basically is German.Militaria. So it's German military items, be that Imperial German or Third Reich, for that matter, or Cold War. Probably over the last 10 years, I've moved much more towards Cold War. Don't do that much Third Reich and Imperial anymore, but so it's anything, not as a surplus type outfit. So I'm not here, buying tons of the same types of buttons or uniforms or whatever and sell them wholesale. That's not it. No, I'm looking more for interesting items, unusual items, one-offs ideally.
Yeah.
That collectibles.
Yeah.
So got the website running, this, German.militaria.com.
Yeah.
Got the Facebook group, which you're a member of, and a lot of other people are, and I think it's going quite well. I think it's a good group.
No, there's great interaction on there, some interesting discussions.
Try and keep it civil there, which I think we've managed so far.
Yeah, so, you're doing well.
So it's like I said, it's a hobby, but it makes pocket money. So
yeah.
So I don't mind doing it, of course. But like I said, but I aim to basically just have items that are
so unusual and
a little bit different, unusual.
Yeah.
Also other items, but I'm try to focus more on unusual items.
Yeah.
More collectible type items that you might want to have it on the display, that you might want to put on your desk or on a bookshelf.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And can I ask you, how did you come across this stuff?
I'd be telling now, wouldn't
it would be. It would be. It was worth a try, Shane.
Yeah, you can.
It was worth a try, Shane. I was trying there. Torsten,
I've got sources everywhere. The old networks are still alive.
Yeah, I can. Well, that sounds like another episode.
Exactly. Yeah.
Torsten, you have been so generous with your time today. I really appreciate speaking to you.
It's Friday, end of the week.
It is indeed, and it is the 29th anniversary of the fall of the wall as well, which makes it extra apt. But that's been great, really interesting stuff, and I'm sure I will have loads of other questions when I turn off the microphone. I hope it's been worthwhile.
So obviously, well, if you want to meet again, we can do that.
Yeah,
of course.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
No problem.
All right.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Well, that was the final part of Torsten's story. Don't forget to visit the show notes at coldwarconversations.com, where there's videos and details of books which will help you find out more about today's episode. If you can't wait for the next episode, do visit our Facebook discussion group, where our guests and listeners, just like you, continue the Cold War conversation. Just go to our website, coldwarconversations.com, and click on the Join the Conversation option. Thank you very much for listening. It is really appreciated. Goodbye.